guys, you find me right in the middle of reassembling the fuel bucket. So I've been playing around for several minutes with the float bowls, and we've got these in. I do have a little measuring doohickey that came with the overhaul kit. I guess that's like a measure of float height. What I do not have is any information as to what the float height needs to be. So for now, we're going to ignore that, and we're going to just go with how it sort of went back together. I've bent these so they're actually level now, as opposed to being like whoop or whoop. So they're now straight. With the gasket on, it all sort of clears. There's enough clearance to get rid of any interference on that. So we've got clearance. That's not been tightened down yet. I found the little ball bearing in the spring that went in there, so that's all done. So this side of things is sort of where we need to be. Again, I need to do a bit of tightening. What we're working on now is the bit I don't understand, which is this mechanoid system in here. So working out from the base of that goes on here. Obviously I took photos of all of this when it came apart. Nope, totally forgot. So I've got lots of photos of it all assembled. I don't have any photos of the doohickeys inside. So I've got a spring, which is always a popular thing to find in your box of bits. I found this, which by a power of default has to go in here. So if that goes in there, that means that's a pivot. And I found a corresponding bit in there. So we really are making this up as we go along. So that goes in there, like so. By the way, the instructions in the Haynes manual for this are tremendous. Let me just bring them over to show you. There we go. So that's the exploded diagram of where it all goes. It's not that clear, I'll be honest with you. But I am referring to it because without it, I probably wouldn't have got this far. So that goes on there and wobbles around. Whey! And that's that little shafty bar thing gone. Oh, there it is. Look, you've got to be so. Don't go in there. Right. The spring is. Oh, don't tell me the spring is sprung. I'll put it in here on the magnetic jobby. What's it? Oh, no. No, it was magnetic. Oh, no. We may have to break. We may have to interrupt this transmission to go and have a panic. Spring. Why do I start this stuff? Okay, so somewhere in here, I just can't see it. I just can't see if we're looking. I put the spring down, I kid you not, 2 minutes ago before I set the camera up. So I set the camera up thinking we're on a roll, it's going okay. I can record this and it will still be usable. I stopped throwing things around and getting in a pickle, and now I've lost a spring. Right. Before I'm going to put this back in there, okay? Of course, it's not magnetic, so don't remind me it's in there, chaps. All right. And I've got to find the spring now. Can't be very far away because I'm keeping this area really sort of tidy. I know it doesn't look it, but everything is contained in this lid. And that was on purpose, so I can't drop stuff on the floor. Because as we all know, when things go on the floor, they're gone. They're not coming back. They go through a portal, a wormhole between the bench and the floor. We've all done it. You drop something, you never hear it land. You know why you don't hear it land? Because it didn't. It's gone off into another dimension. It's where all the other socks are gone. It's linked to a tumble dryer and a washing machine. Now this seriously, there he is. Look at that, right in front of me. So this, let's go back to where we were. Just to recap then, we've got the doohickey, and that goes for the whatnot. And that's going to go on there, like so. And that's going to pivot. So that's going to wobble up and down. I'm guessing, does it go underneath that or on top of that? That's a bloody good question. Does it go underneath that? If anybody knows, let me know, because I reckon when I reassemble this in the van, it ain't going to work. I reckon that goes underneath. Does that go underneath? Let's have a look at the book. Goes on top. I am thinking that I've got this a bit wrong. So that goes on top. And the spring goes in there, or around there, on the back clip. See, we got the two prongs. I think the spring is supposed to sort of, there we are, like so. I wonder which way around this goes. Oh, that's a good point. That I think goes in there. And then that spring goes in the retaining cap here. So that, yeah, that's it. We're there. I haven't taken apart any of that mechanism, quite simply because A, it seems to work, B, I don't want to. This is a case of, let's just get it running, and hopefully, because it's unblocked, it will run better than it did. I'm sure there are purists out there saying, oh, but you haven't taken it all the way apart, and you haven't done this, and you haven't done that. No, I haven't. I have no intention of doing so. I really do want to get this van running pretty quick, I'll be honest with you. I'm really, really hoping. This got a little bit bent. I'm hoping it's straight enough. I think it is. So that spring goes in there. Then I sort of put it down. And then this is the point where I wish I'd actually got the screws for it before I put the spring on. We are making tremendous progress. Right, more screwsies. Where are they? Come here, little screwsies. There's a screw missing. Of course there is. You know, that's just not possible, but the third screw's missing. How can I be this careful and still lose a screw? I don't know. But yeah, it's gone. It's not there. Oh no, that is a problem. All joking aside, that is a problem. Don't know how it's happened. Well, I do, because I've had to leave this for a week and come back to it. And of course, doing that, everything's just disappeared. The gremlins have been here. despite my best efforts. I've lost a screw. That is what we call in the trade a bit of a showstopper. It's probably on the floor or the tumble dryer or the washing machine. Damn again. So what do we do about that? I don't know. I think what I'd like to say is we'll sort of ignore it for now, but I don't know if I can. I think what I might do is ignore it for now and hope the screw turns up before I actually need to run the thing. Because without the screw, we're screwed. Did I just say that? I'll write that one down. Without the screw, we're screwed. Yeah, we're mullered. Take two, start again, sell the van. Non-runner, take it away. 12 months MOT. All you need is a screw and it will run perfectly. Can't believe it. I'm actually being scuppered for the sake of, dunno. Let's be generous. Someone's going to charge me £1 for that screw, aren't they? I may have to go and take a screw into somewhere and say, can you sell me one of these? And they're going to say, yes, you idiot. That'll be 10 quid. Because without it, you haven't got a van. No, you're right, I haven't. Okay, great news. Many words have been said, and I've torn this place upside down looking for the corresponding screw that's going to go in there, okay? You're never going to believe where I found it. I've actually found it stuck on the underside of a magnetic tray. I know. What made me look there, you say? Ah, well, when there's nowhere else to look, you start looking in all the places it can't possibly be. Strangely, it wasn't in the washing machine or the dishwasher. Right, there's that one. Oh yeah, I did put a gasket on. Just for a minute there, I thought I'd forgotten the gasket. We're doing really well. Right, there's that all done, duded. Now then, before I actually assemble this, joy of joys, I just need to tweak them up. So we've got the floats, operates that doohickey, that's in place. Those have been taken out and are now moving freely. We've replaced the rubber seal on the plunger job. This is ready to go back together. Yeah, I know. It's exciting, isn't it? Okay, so gasket my bob. That way around it, that way around, so all the holes line up. In, done. Just wondering if I should give it another squirt of this. Just pour it out. Don't know. Probably. That's probably broken it all, so now I've got to make everything line up. I did have a new plunger cap for that, but I can't work out how that one comes off. And to be fair, that doesn't look terribly worn or anything, so I can't see the point of disturbing it just to put a new piece on. But may just make it all worse. Oh, that's moving more easily. Ah! Oh my god! Why did that come off? Oh, that's not good. That really wasn't meant to come off. I haven't undone that. That's what we call a bad day. And then look, there's a now guys, this this isn't so good. That is all part of the mechanism in there that I wasn't going to take apart. Guess what? That's a catastrophe. I'll be honest, that is a catastrophe. That piece that just sprang off in my hand hasn't been undone. I haven't knowingly done anything with it. So the question is now, why did that plunger suddenly eject itself from the body of the carb? It's almost like it was saying, don't put me back in there. I don't want to go back in the van. God, I know how you feel. Right. Let's just, see, now the gasket's all decided it wants to stay. Oh. So the mechanism bob I wasn't going to touch, it's become unhooked. Guys, I really am currently making this up as I go along. I haven't got any new parts for that. Something really weird has happened. Well, that hooks in. So that's going to go in there. So in here, that bit hooks in. Now what I do not understand for the life of me is how that's come unhooked, because there's not enough lateral movement on it to become unhooked. So now I need to get my third hand on the go, because I need to put this in under compression the right way round so the hook's in the right place. I need to then hold that while I get my thin nose pliers that I've now, oh guess what, they're not here, they've been lost. There we are. So now I've got the right old game with it. So what I might do in a minute is turn the camera off, because all we're going to have now is a lot of swearing. And I'm going to be honest with you. That is going to be a lot of swearing. Because I can't get my finger doodabs in there. What is it, my bloody great adult hands just aren't going to fit in to do anything with this. Why did this not all come adrift when I was debating taking it all apart? Why is it waited to now? I don't know. See, I don't want to take all this apart. I may have to. I was hoping this would fall apart. That's what I wanted to fall apart. Not this bit in here. This is just a pain in the bum. This is going to be a battle. Guys, I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm just going to work on this for a second. See what we do. Ta-da! Great news. It's all back together. There we go. It's all working perfectly. All I need to do now is get the circlip jobby what's it back in there. But it's all connected up. That took me, let's not go there, but it's done. So all I need to do now is get that back into there. That should take minutes. There's that done. You see that? Okay, so the next bit now is where we were some time ago now. So we're back to this. So that's going to go, no, it's not, that's going to go in there. like so. The gasket we're going to put back on, like so. This we're going to put back on, making sure that spring is located correctly in the recess. Again, this is where I wish I got the screws ready to go, but let's not stress. Now then, this, we rewind the clock, we were about, some time ago now, feels like days, we were about to put this back together, weren't we? So all that's got to go in there. That seems to fit. Always worth just doing a bit of a trial fit before you rush in the screws. Ask me how I know that. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I counted 6 screws. You saw me do it. You actually saw me count 6 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that one. Where's that one? You saw me count them. I'm going to have to go back over the footage because I genuinely think I'm going mad. Oh, is it? Look at that. Beep, 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 beep. So before we do the final clamp down, we're going to make sure that everything seems to be in place. It's all sat flush and flat. Right, I'm happy with that. 6. There we go. That's fundamentally put back together. All I've got under here now, guys, what I'm looking at, I'm doing it off camera. I'm just seeing which way around the gasket goes. I've got that little, something's not quite right. That's going to be an air leak. I don't know what to do about that. Right, basically what we got, that little port there is barely covered. You can just see I think when this is on there would be just a dear little hole there. For the sake of bloody hell, 1 millimeter of gasket. To be fair, I probably wouldn't have spotted that if I hadn't been. That is such, I mean, that is like a sliver. Now, there's a possibility when the gasket's compressed down, it will just spread out for that, but you just know it's not. And it could sit more like that, when there's a whopping great hole. I haven't even got the old gasket to compare it with because it's long dead. That is bloody frustrating. Okay, we're going to have a think about that. Well, it's back together and I'm pretty pleased. There's a couple of question marks I've got now regarding that pinhole on the gasket. Yes, it's going to be an issue, but it isn't going to be an issue because I've marked with black marker pen where the tiny hole is, and yes, if you really peer you can see it, but it is a tiny dear little gap. I'm going to block that off with something, some appropriate sealer, silicone, paste, goo, don't know. The fast idle cam, I have learned something. This fast idle cam isn't actually connected to anything. I think there's meant to be a screw that goes in here, which operates on the cam as the cam lifts. And I guess that's meant to throw the throttle open slightly like that. So that currently, although it's connected, I need to get the screw in there. There never has been. So one more little, glitch. I'm going to show you guys this. We actually glossed over this a bit on the actual carb rebuild. So we had a very, very slight air leak, or a gap in the gasket. Couldn't do anything about it. When I actually put the carb back together, there was literally a hair width gap, which is going to suck air in and isn't going to solve any of our issues. So to overcome that, I decided to add an additional gasket. So we bought some gasket paper, which you could buy anywhere. Again, this came off the internet, A4 size, really cheap, relatively thick, so it was ideal. I just drew around the gasket to get the basic shape, with obviously the two venturis there. They're the hardest bits to cut out. Just use a very, very sharp knife. However, dotted around the gasket was a multitude of ports, holes, effectively. I did try using a hole punch because I had nothing else. That doesn't work. You can't line it up any sense. So if that's all you have, don't waste your time. The best bet is to go onto the internet or down to your local parts store and buy a hole punch set for gasket making. So this comes in a variety of sizes. They are literally hole punches, but with a hole in the center, you can see there. So once you've marked your hole, let's say for argument's sake there's one to be here, take your hole punch on something sturdy, you mark it on, you can actually see through the side where you're going, so you can actually get it dead center, and you take your hammer, bosh, straight through, a couple of whacks, and then you can just push out your hole, and as you can see, you've got your perfect porthole there. Job done. You could, I cut these out, these big ones, but you could take the larger punch and work your way around if you wanted to make it really neat. I just used a really sharp blade and it was absolutely fine. So that's how we overcame the air leak. So we've got the original gasket with a secondary gasket that I've made. So there we go. Right, we're about to unleash the Spider Sucker 9000. I'm all tangled up in the 8 meters of cable it came with. Right, here we go. Right, gonna go and grab a flashlight so we can have a proper look at what's left. Right, oh, there's loads of crud still in there. That isn't what I wanted to see. Doesn't everybody vacuum their engines? I don't know. If you're not, let me know in the comments. Do you do this? Do you clean stuff up? You just throw it back together and hope for the best. So what I'm going to do now is just loosen up a little bit more grit and grime. Bug Sucker 2018. I know, we're not on the 28 now, are we on the 6000? So here we go. It's basically ready for the carb to go back on, or barber shading, but I do want to try and tidy up some more, purely so that for me and peace of mind, when I pop the engine cover off, it looks a little bit smarter. It's degreased, it's cleaned up as much as I can. I want to paint the inlet manifold. Now, I'd love to paint it red, to be fair, but that would require us taking the inlet manifold off, and to be honest, it works and we don't really need the work. We've got enough to do. So I'm going to paint it black with black engine enamel. I'm doing it black because although I could get red in paintable, brushable enamel anyway, I'm not going to be able to get to all of it. There's bound to be bits that I miss. If I do it in black, the bits I miss, quite frankly, won't show up, especially when everything's back together. It will just look on the face of it really smart really quickly. So we're going in with some black engine enamel, and we're going to literally do the bits you can see and as much of the bits you can't that I can get to. But just imagine how much better this will look. I've also got, I don't know if you can see it here, a tin of paint in another container. That, so if I do spill it, I'm not going to get it all over the carpet and upholstery. Well, that's the plan. It's a lot of what we call bang for your buck. It's a very, very, very visual improvement for not a lot of effort, really. Despite being so careful, I've still got black paint everywhere. It's amazing. Right, let's get you guys in. You can tell me what you think in the comments. It's looking very black. As you can see now, once the carb's on, it will look black and shiny, or black and satiny. Folks, this is the EGR delete we're working on. So we've cleaned up the gasket face on the inlet manifold. Here you can see I've removed all of the mechanisms that actually operate this. So the little pop-it valve is gone, the vacuum chamber's gone, the plunger's gone. So you might be thinking, Ed, what on earth are you doing now? Well, let me show you. We have made up a blanking plate. So that's going to go, when I've worked out which way round, something like that. Okay. And then this is merely going to bolt on top. So that's another job ticked off. Next time you see it, it should be painted black, popped on. If I'm feeling really generous with my time, I might even make up a blanking plate and just pop on there just to make it look that bit neater. Well, updates, you find us now trying to sort out the heater controls, which we've got from that broken off plastic trim. Chris is here. We've labelled up all of the black pipes. We've identified them due to a picture that Chris had on the internet. Chris is just trying a little bit of hot work on. I'll see if I can zoom in on that. There we go. Right, so we've got some spare pipe in yellow with a heat gun. Chris has sleeved it onto a surface bit of pipe. That works. So if I zoom back, everybody, you can see us now advancing even more bits, which is always a good thing.
Definitely.
Yeah, but we are making massive progress. I'll let your eyes drink it in, fellas, because we've got all sorts going on. So vacuum lines are about to cut these off and sleeve them on to the corresponding lines up here, and the corresponding green lines down there. We've traced these back to the actuators and accumulators in here, and at some point we're going to see if we can start this puppy up, because if I just have a quick look down here, the carburettor, the fuel bucket is back on.
I'm just trying to get enough heat in it to get that on.
while we're off camera, Chris had a good idea of, rather than cutting the black plastic pipes, that we keep them connected to the manifold, and then we just extend the manifold bits
Like that.
like so. There we go. That will be ideal.
That should just be enough just so we can try it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a good idea.
Right, so we're not all very far. But we'll have to do. There's one. You want another little piece and heat it up?
Yeah, hang on. Let me cut another, same sort of length.
Yes, please.
Okay. There we go. In my goal to remove all of the vacuum lines that were surplus and all the emission stuff, somewhere in that mix of ripping stuff out, the vacuum source that goes to the HVAC system was collateral damage. So I need to basically find a vacuum source.
What colour are we putting on? Brown?
Yeah, so just I've fed brown through just now.
Blue? Oh, that's not blue. Oh, we got green.
Well,
We've got green and dark green.
and we haven't got green and dark green on the thing, have we? I would leave them because I think they're air conditioning.
Right, cool. Right,
So I reckon we can remove air conditioning.
right, where's the brown then?
The brown I actually fed through just now, but obviously it's curled itself back up. Let's just bring you fellas in so you can have a little look at what's going on. So there's the actuators. One there, one further in with the appropriate vacuum lines going to them. Those lines then go down through that part of the dash, down behind the actual heater controls, and are then being connected in to this doohickey manifold. So now what we need to test then, what you're going to ask me for is a vacuum line, aren't you?
Yes, please.
Okay. Now then.
Next episode.
What do you mean next? I haven't got this one done yet. Next episode. I mean, bearing in mind we're in this is what, January the 1st. This is the 1st of January 2025. So this will probably end up actually on YouTube in June.
Yeah, 26.
As luck would have it, I've saved lots of vacuum lines. So this is all of the environmental stuff and smog stuff I've taken off since the smog pump. Chris has connected up all of the vacuum lines to the manifold side with a jury-rigged temporary vacuum source from the carburetor. Obviously now to test this, well, we got up and down and phase vents. We actually need, the moment has come, Chris, to see if my carb rebuild
Oh, yeah.
has actually worked. So we're going to start this puppy up
Let's go for it.
because we can't get a vacuum with it not running.
No, fair enough.
So the battery's obviously fully charged. We haven't connected up the choke yet, so this does nothing at all. So the choke's currently fully open. So A, it's freezing cold.
Yes.
I did actually crank it over just to get through into the bowl off camera. So hopefully this might actually get to the point where it fires. Yeah. Let me just turn the heating bulb off a second. That must be the
Indicator.
indicator, that's all right. Right in. Let's go. It nearly went.
There he went.
It nearly went. I mean, it is bitterly cold,
Yes.
and there's no choke.
No, but
I don't want to put the choke over by hand in case it does backfire on its first start up and incinerates inside of the van. That would be unfortunate after all this work.
yeah, it'd be good for video though, wouldn't it?
What did you and me running?
Yeah, running out of the garage,
Like
screaming
like
little
a Blair Witch Project video, like shaking up and down and looking at trees and sky and the ground.
Yeah, big explosion at the back.
You wouldn't actually see anything.
No.
Don't want to put my hand in there.
You got plenty of fingers.
Sorry?
You got plenty of fingers. Yeah, that'll make a difference. Go for it. Come on, Basil.
Hang on, I need...
Do you want me to turn it on?
Yeah.
Hang on, go on.
Hang on.
Got it?
Go on then.
Where's the key?
That's it.
Right, quick, use the, see if the heaters work. Oh, you're such a wuss.
Oh, hang on. Right, that's the top.
Yeah.
All at the top.
Right, so we've not got them in the right place then?
I don't know, mate. I don't honestly know.
On that bombshell.
Yeah, on that puzzlement, we'll
Cool.
have to investigate a bit more. Oh well, we'll get back to it. Well, there we go, gang. The engine started up. It ran perfectly, in fact. We glossed over it a little bit at the end of the video, purely because we were a bit sidetracked doing the Havoc vacuum lines job, which we were going to do at a separate time, but you know, we got carried away. So that being said, the car was rebuilt, back together, seems to run perfectly. We've yet to do a road trip or road test on it, but we'll work on that when the weather improves. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoy what you see. Goes to show that even a bit of patience, a low budget, you can still crack on and do these projects. So if you've got one in your garage at home, just get out there, do 10 minutes at a time, half an hour here and there. It's what we do here. We don't spend days and days and days on this stuff. We literally do half an hour, 10 minutes, an hour somewhere else, evenings, weekends. It can take weeks, but the important thing is we're getting there. So again, thanks so much for watching. I hope we've earned a subscription from you guys. Put a comment in the bottom if you like it or not. But we'll see you next time when we're doing a bit more to the van.